What's up, everyone? Kind of breaking news here. Really odd Yankees to get Harrison Bader for Jordan Montgomery, a 1-for-1 swap with the St. Louis Cardinals. This is a team that had like really good pitching depth, and now Domingo Germán's are 5 again. So, Bader's a good player, but he's out until September. The Yankees now have Germán as their 5 starter, as I just said, which is suboptimal. Knowing Severino's hurt, not knowing when you're going to get him back is kind of questionable. But, Nick, I'll let you take it away here. Kind of give me your initial thoughts. We've had some time to think about it. We've kind of let our thoughts out on Twitter. But kind of let me know now that some time has passed by. What do you think about this move?
It's interesting to say the least. We were in a Twitter space with Yankees Files. Had over like 250 people in that Twitter space. So that was pretty fun. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. We were there when the news broke. I get the want and the reasoning behind it, and it's got to be money because Bader's making $5 million probably next year, and Monty's going to probably want to make 10. So maybe the Yankees are trying to penny pinch so they can offer Judge a big deal. That's the only positive spin I could possibly put on this because they didn't get another starter. It's 6:55 when we're recording this. There's going to be no other move. There never was a deal. Pablo Lopez is not coming to the Bronx. Carlos Rodon is not coming to the Bronx. We are done. The team is as it stands. And I get people are like, oh, Harrison Bader's a great defensive center fielder, one of the best in baseball. And he is, absolutely. But if the Yankees wanted a center fielder that's good at defense, they could have just picked up Brett Phillips for nothing. They could have gone out and got Michael A. Taylor for a prospect or two that's probably 20th, 30th in the system. Instead, they gave up a lot for a guy that's not even going to be playing until the end of September at the earliest. He's got plantar fasciitis. He's walking in a boot right now. He hasn't played since June 26th. Like, I get Harrison Bader's a great player. He was once a top 25 prospect, and the Cardinals obviously value him very highly. But I also heard that there's going to be another player to be named later, whoever that is. But that's also a bit concerning, as I believe Whipple mentioned in the space we talked about earlier on Twitter. When you're adding in another guy to the deal, it kind of does make you think, oof, like this plantar fasciitis could keep him out for the entire season and postseason. Like, I don't know how bad plantar fasciitis is. I don't know how much pain Bader's in or whatever. But it's just a puzzling move because the guy that was the odd man out of the rotation to me did not at all seem to be Jordan Montgomery. And I know you probably agree with this, as should most sane Yankee fans. Montgomery was very good this year. He's the definition of consistency. There's been memes going around in the old homage that the Yankees don't give run support for Montgomery has been a thing for years. He's homegrown. So, like, why is it that they just gave up a year and a half of that for basically a year of Harrison Bader? And now they have 5 outfielders. I guess they're saying that Stanton's not playing in the outfield again when he comes back. I guess that's final. And I guess that they're not going to want to use Carpenter in the outfield anymore. But now the whole thing's very weird. I don't get why they'd want to do it and why that was Cashman's final move at the deadline. Like, you put it best. We were close to Pablo Lopez, and then we went to a worse team than we were an hour before.
Yeah, kind of to touch on your point there, this team traded Sears, Waldachuk, and Montgomery and kept Germán. Like, what are we doing? You didn't even keep Schmidt up. You sent him down. What has Germán shown to this team? Oh, he threw a great game yesterday. BS. He got lucky. The dude had no business throwing 5 innings, a 2-run ball. His stats in the year are horrific. Yeah, he's gotten barely above 0.7% of plate appearances, a 6.39 ERA, a 15% strikeout rate, and a 9% walk rate. It's unbelievable, right?
I mean, the other thing is Bader doesn't, and I get people are like, oh, maybe they didn't see Monty in your playoff rotation, and you're not going to need a 5th guy in the playoff rotation anyways. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. But you want to tell me that Harrison Bader is your it factor in the postseason that you want to add to your lineup that you gave up a number 3 starter for with the same amount of control, but not going to be able to play as much because he's injured? Like, I don't think Harrison Bader, if we were putting our best lineup out there in the ALCS or the World Series, Harrison Bader wouldn't crack that lineup. So, like, what are we doing?
I just, like, I don't know, man. What really does it for me is this team knows that they needed to preserve some guys' innings. Excuse me. Montgomery was one of the few guys you had in that rotation that could pitch a full season, and you
Yes.
were confident in that. I don't get it. I really don't. Again, I think Bader's a good player, but this feels like a next year move. I'm trying to win a World Series in 2022.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If people want to sit here, do people want to have some revisionist history and act like, Tyone isn't better than Tyone? Montgomery isn't better than Tyone and isn't better than Schmidt and isn't better than Herman. I mean, look, if this team was going, let's say, you know what, we're going to try to just start Schmidt. Maybe we saw enough in Schmidt to justify starting him. Fine. But he's not starting. And for people saying, oh, he'll just be back. They'll just start him eventually. They're building him up. It's going to take 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, you're going to start Domingo Herman. 2 more weeks minimum. I don't see
us. 4 starts probably.
Right. I don't. Is Oswald Peraza up? No. Is Schmidt up? No. Like, I have no confidence in this team to call up the young kids to go fill in these roles. They've let terrible, mediocre guys who are riding the coattails of whatever the hell they have on the Yankee organization to keep playing, whether it's Herman or IKF.
Or Donaldson.
Or Donaldson. Like, I don't. Donaldson's hitting 5th tonight, right? This
Again,
team had
the 19th night in a row.
This team had a phenomenal deadline. I would have rather them done nothing today and just trade Gallo and that's it than do anything else.
They got Beater is actually a really great return for Gallo. He immediately slots in as our 10th best prospect in the farm. And that's great because we needed other guys to put in there, especially for how much prospect capital we lost. Not necessarily, them being really good prospects, but we lost a lot of guys in the past 3 days. And then today they go out and they do the Gallo deal, which I thought was great. And then they just shit on it by not only not getting another starter like everyone was led to believe they were going to do, but by dealing away one of their own. So they just do the complete opposite of what they wanted to do today. That's what I don't get. Everyone knew the Yankees were pursuing Rodon. Everyone knew the Yankees were pursuing Pablo Lopez. I was the only person in the world that believed the Yankees were pursuing Tariq Skubal. Like, even Martin Perez was still out there. The fucking people wanted Noah Syndergaard. Like, there were options out there. And instead of getting one of them, like everyone thought they were going to do, they went ahead and dealt Jordan Montgomery for a guy that's not healthy. That's what it comes down to. Harrison Bader, very quality baseball player, top 5 defensive center fielder in baseball, without a doubt. But the other thing is when you have plantar fasciitis, that shit is not easy to kick. It ruined Greg Bird. Like, that's not something that you can just move on from and just recover from quickly. He's in a boot right now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So this is a guy, like you said, that we're looking toward next season to playing with and potentially in the postseason if he's healthy. But like I said, even then, to reiterate, Harrison Bader should not be getting at bats in the postseason in a big game, in a do or die game, over guys like Benintendi, Judge, Stanton, if that's what and if you want to have Carpenter in DH against righties. Like, that's the biggest loss of this whole thing, is that now Matt Carpenter's probably going to lose at bats in the postseason. And it's like, well, damn, I would have loved to see Matt Carpenter against righties or lefties, the guys that he's literally putting up a 200 WRC plus against.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know. Like, if they really like Clark Schmidt this much, why the hell is he in AAA? And you could just get rid of Herman. You can just get rid of Herman. You do not have to trade.
Launch him to the fucking sun.
Like, I don't get it. Why is he starting a single baseball game for this team? Why is he starting? And don't tell me, oh, well, it's not October yet. They're not starting the best guys yet. I want home field advantage. You want the best team on the field possible. Keep Schmidt. Send Herman to the sun. You don't need it. You know what? You can make the Montgomery trade. Why is Herman here? Why ruin your pitching depth? Why do any of those things? You made your team worse. You've made it so that if anyone gets hurt, Domingo Herman is starting. You've made it so that if Severino can't build himself up in time, and you can't start him, Jamison Town is starting game 4 of an ALCS. You have just made it so that regardless, unless you have a perfect bill of health, if one guy goes down, if 2 guys go down, you can't win the World Series this year. Think about that. They've put their World Series chances on the pillar that 2 guys who haven't pitched 180 innings in their entire career basically stay healthy all year. I loved every move of this deadline, but this absolutely just dampens everything. It makes it so that your World Series odds hinge on such a low chance everyone in that rotation staying healthy, of Severino coming back and being perfect, no flaws, nothing, of Herman not blowing it for you. It just, I can't, man.
The last hour of the deadline was some of the worst management by Brian Cashman I've seen recently in my years as watching the Yankees. Again, you went from being linked to two of the two best starting pitchers available on the market. You even were considered getting a package. I heard murmurs of potential packages being put together with them as well. People had high hopes for the last day of the deadline. And I'm not going to just sit here and act like, oh, Brian Cashman missed, because like you said, he didn't. He had a great deadline until the last hour. Even during that last hour, Jack Curry was on Yes talking about how Gleyber Torres is now in potential trade talks. So the whole management of that last hour of the deadline gets an F. And the Montgomery deal at the end just capped it off. And there's nothing's happening now. No one's just going to get randomly DFA'd because they want to get cut, because they weren't traded. There's not going to be a star guy that just pops up out of nowhere. We're not going to call the Hakuten Golden Eagles and ask for Masahiro Tanaka, as much as our friend Gabe would love that. This team is now what it is. And it is basically, for the rest of the season, a 1-5, in which your 4 and 5 are now Tyone and Herman. And if one of those guys gets injured, you have no one else, unless you want to use Schmidt as a starter. And even then, I don't know if the Yankees want to use him as a starter because he's been so good in the bullpen. I don't know what they're fucking doing with him. And like you said, they trade away Sears. They traded away Truck. They traded away Wesneski. They traded away Medina. There's a lot of guys that were kind of that AA, AAA, like, if we get someone that's injured, you're the next guy up, that are now gone. So if someone gets hurt, there's going to be problems. We may be fucking seeing a phone call out to Cole Hamels. This is a weird ass end of the deadline that was so great until it wasn't.
Yeah, why you could have at least kept Schmidt up. If Schmidt was here, sure, because I think Schmidt, the ceiling with Schmidt is high enough to justify saying we'll give him a shot and see what we got here.
AAA.
He's in AAA, man. He's 26 and they've kept him in. He's in AAA, dude. Like, he's not here. And don't say, oh, we're going to stretch him out. You sent him down to stretch him out. That's why you sent him down the first time. He's been starting for a month down there. You know? Like, dude, he's been starting for a month down there.
Yep,
and then they bring him up.
Yeah,
we're done.
Any more moves. Woo! What a colossal disaster class at the end there by Cashman. And I get it. Bader's a good baseball player. Bader's a very special defensive baseball player. He's great. But we're not going to have him for 2 months. He's not even doing any baseball activities. And we gave up our number 3 starter by the metrics for him. And Montgomery's going to immediately slot in that St. Louis rotation and be one of their best arms. So now the Cardinals went from basically having Matz and a 40-year-old Adam Wainwright doing the damn thing with Miles Michaelos' phenomenal season this year to now having a very solid rotation and waiting for Jack Flaherty looming in the wings. The Yankees were a great, great, great team, and now they're a great, great team.
Yeah, no, this team is still really freaking good. It's just it doesn't make sense because you've increased your risk of this team not being very, very good in October because it just takes an injury. This team right now, they walk into October. Yeah, they're very good. The problem happens to be that it's just the injury. And then again, why is Clark Schmidt not here? I just don't get it, dude. Okay, I'm going to be on the record saying this. If Demir Herman wasn't starting those games that Monty would be starting and it was Schmidt instead, no complaints. And if Bader wasn't hurt until the end of September,
if Bader was healthy, I'd be fine with this deal. Honest
to
God,
if Bader was healthy,
he hasn't played in a month, and he's not playing for another 2 months. So what the fuck do they want him for on this team, taking a roster spot when he's not even going to be playing?
Now he's out. He's apparently on the 10-day IL. He's been on the 10-day IL, imagine, since
June 26th when he got injured.
Yeah. Now, if he's not put on the 60-day IL, great. I don't know when is he gonna. I don't even know when he's gonna be back, man. I can Google it right now, maybe. But look, it's a foot injury, which is concerning too, because he's an athlete first. He's not like a bat first guy. I will say there's potential for him to be like a great player for the Yankees.
Byron
But he's got to
Buxton
be healthy.
dealt with plantar fasciitis a ton.
Right. But remember, Bader hasn't played more than 100.
Plantar fasciitis. Like,
yeah,
it fucks with players' athleticism.
He hasn't played 100 games he's played 100 games 3 times. He hasn't played more than 108 games in a season. Like, if you're going to bank on him to stay healthy all year, you're crazy. But you know what? I'm not going to sit here. He said, okay, Jack Curry said that Bader is going to be, by September, and that the organization doesn't, they don't think IKF's defense is a problem.
What? So
we'll
no fucking Peraza call up now? Oh my god! All right, we got to end this episode. This is getting too much negative. Yankees, but you know what? Great team, still, in my opinion, the AL favorites. But losing Montgomery for a guy that's not going to be playing baseball probably for a month and a half, 2 months at latest is not a great move. Sorry, that's all I really have to say about it.
This is like an FD type of. This is not good. This is really bad.
I'd say it's like a C- type deal. No. Because if Bader comes back healthy, he's a very good baseball player. And Monty could be wanting an extension or wanting 10, 11 million next year. And I get the Yankees being stingy if that money goes to Judge. That's the other thing. In 2 or 3 months, 3-4 months from now, if we revisit this and Judge goes elsewhere, I'm going to be so fucking mad. Because I get it if the Yankees are trying to save and cut pennies at every corner. And if we see a Donaldson DFA at the end of the season to save that money and just eat it to give to Judge, these moves make a little bit more sense. But today, right now, this move is like a D. So, yeah, I actually agree with you. D-. Future potential of a C.
Yeah, look, now here's what I will say. There's a lot of, there are a lot of results for the, outcomes for this deal. Outcome A, Bader comes back in September, and he's like a 100 WRC plus guy, great defense, great base running, and this is a great move.
Solid move.
And they start Schmidt, and Schmidt is like a good starter. That's the good outcome, right? That's like maybe and I will say this, the organization could definitely know something we don't, right? Like maybe they really like Clark Schmidt and they think Clark Schmidt is ready, right? And that's why they moved him.
Elite ground ball pitcher.
But you know what? I need that doesn't work for me because Schmidt isn't here. So if Schmidt is here, I buy into it. But until he is, I don't know. But you know what? We'll wait and see. We'll see how this ends up looking. We could be wrong. I hope we're wrong. I hope this trade is amazing. We always hope
we're wrong about the bad moves.
Right. But it feels like it's a bad process, but we don't know what's going on in the organization because you don't know what they think about Schmidt. We don't know. Maybe Monty is not as good as they thought. Maybe they weren't planning on starting him in October, and that's why they didn't want to keep him, and that makes sense. But you know what? We'll keep got you guys updated. That's the last move of the deadline, according to Jack Curry. Thank you guys so much for supporting us throughout the deadline. We've grown like crazy because of you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Was it an A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever it was for you guys? E for whatever, I guess. But we'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.